Michael Kaiser has very quickly gone from being one of my favorite characters to now being one of my most hated, as this chapter shows us the Emperor's true nature. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Anamasu, and just this morning, Blue Lock Chapter 261 leaks dropped thanks to Hoshi and Ryuga on Twitter. Please make sure to show them some love for always keeping us updated, and likewise, if you appreciate the content I push out and would like to support me, go ahead and make sure you've clicked that subscribe button, commented below your thoughts, and also check out my community Discord down in the description. I hope you all have an amazing day, and to all the Kaizeness fans out there, I'm so sorry once again to ruin your mood. Blue Lock Chapter 261 Malice starts off as usual with intro text which says, "A new journey for Kaiser, who is born out of despair. Along with his beautiful tattoo, this boy comes to know the world." The first thing we actually see here is Kaiser having his iconic blue rose tattoo inked onto his neck, and right below it, there's also a visual of a lone rose his mother left before abandoning his family. As we then pick up from the latest chapter with Raydark visiting Kaiser in prison, he goes on to explain that he heard rumors of some boy who took down 7 police officers with just 1 soccer ball. Apparently Ray is some big time FIFA scout who's been all over the world looking for raw talent like Kaiser, possibly the new Generation 11 scout. It seems like Michael either willingly went along with Ray or just had no other choice, because if we flip over to page 2, Raydark and Kaiser are both standing in front of the Bastion Munich Youth Clubhouse. Ray goes on to explain that as long as he passes the protest, he should be fit to move in whenever and call this place his new home. With a serious expression though taking this all in, Kaiser is just thinking in his own head about how he'll do anything to escape his father. There's even a little flash of memory which shows his father drinking on the couch, demonstrating to us just how truly scarred he is from his parents. As it then flashes towards the other members of the club introducing themselves, it seems like they're all initially pretty friendly to him, even carrying over a plate of food and setting it down for him to have. Apparently they've all heard rumors about Michael Kaiser and want to eat alongside him, as they even compliment his new rose tattoo. Kaiser, however, just sits through their hospitality with a dead expression, thinking about how different these humans are from himself. Unlike him, they were wanted, born from desire and passion. We then see Kaiser throwing the tray of food right into the face of the nice person welcoming him, as the club members begin to shout out in confusion and anger. Kaiser then lashes out even more by physically assaulting his brand new clubmates, literally leaping through the air to kick one square in his jaw. It's really depressing how close-minded and immature Michael is due to his abuse, because we see him automatically assume here that his clubmates came from better situations than him, despite literally just meeting them and knowing nothing about them. He even admits here that he never learned how to accept kindness, because all he's ever known and been influenced by is hate and malice. It's easier for him to just repeat the actions once inflicted onto him rather than to grow and break the cycle, which I believe to be a core theme of his character. Anyways, the chapter then flashes forward to some kind of training or possibly a real match, where we see the members of the club working in tandem to move up the ball. Kaiser, however, seems to be left all alone here, explaining to us that outcasts do not receive passes or help at all. He thinks that in order to win and survive in this kind of environment, you must first learn how to fight all by yourself, while also having an overwhelming weapon to separate you. The background in this monologue shows our Emperor getting in some intense training through planks, push-ups, and leg presses, and I have to be honest, he's built like a literal twig in the beginning here, and it's really sad. This more than likely is due to his lack of a proper diet while living with his father, as they literally had to rely on stealing food to even get it. The chapter then once again flashes to another scene of his training, as we see him slamming shots into the back net. Now here comes the really controversial and crazy part of today's video, because Kaiser seems to be doing another kind of training here, plotting on how to make an impact. Instead of cozying up with kindness to his clubmates and hoping for a pass, Michael literally says he needs a dog that will submit to his malice. We then see Kaiser's best lo-fi girl impression at the desk while studying psychological books about the mind, because his ultimate plan to get some assistance is manipulation and faking his intentions. The lock just keeps getting darker with every chapter, I swear. It all then finally comes into place if you didn't already connect the pieces, because as the chapter then flashes back over to the Bastion Munich tryouts we saw during Ness's flashback, we once again see him getting thrashed and ran over by the competition. Kaiser is just silently watching, thinking him to be good experimental material, as he apparently is a perfect fit for his imagination, dribbling, and passing. More important than any other trait though, Kaiser deems Ness to be the proper guinea pig, because he's isolated and all alone. We then finally see Kaiser's perspective of when he and Ness first met, and the difference between their inner thoughts and desire just hurts me to my core. While Ness looked up and saw a shining ray of hope, someone who was finally there to help and care about him, Kaiser looked down and saw a pathetic and isolated guinea pig, whose heart he could erode. From this moment on, I will no longer hate Ness and contribute to any more bullying of that child. I'm on my Thorfinn arc after reading all of these depressing chapters, with the next page just showing flashers from Kaiser's past such as his father, the abuse, and even his mother's rose. The narrator goes on to tell us that little by little, Kaiser began to truly understand his own nature. He enjoyed the feeling of victory, as it allowed him to hurt and destroy those he viewed as privileged. It really seems like all of his negative emotions and outbursts just come from him being jealous, even though he's completely oblivious to the potential suffering of people around him. All Kaiser cares about is proving his own existence through pure malice, as he found the easiest way to live on within people's hearts is to be an invasive, manipulative wound. With a panel of him posing up like a villain, looking Shigaraki style just like his father in the last chapter, the narrator says that Kaiser strived to become a symbol of the impossible, someone who teaches despair and destroys the dreams of others. Kaiser felt like each time he took the hopes of another and crushed it, each time he collected another person's despair, that he was becoming more human himself. It's something that was filling the void inside of this poor boy's heart, and it seems like even into the present day, Kaiser is still yet to grow out of this awful, narcissistic habit. At the same time though, Kaiser would also constantly think back on his father who once hated and abused him so much. His father only took his anger out on him because he could not manage it himself, so instead of growing as a person, he'd beat his son every day to project his own despair. Even Kaiser can recognize his own ironic behavior because he's acting the same exact way to his fellow footballers as his scumbag father once acted towards him. From that point on, despite everything in his past, Kaiser desired to become the best in the world someday, no matter what it took. Flashing back to the present PXG match, PXG starts with their kickoff pass into the direction of Alexis Ness, with the game tied at 1-1. Going shoulder to shoulder with Nanase, Ness manages to leap into the air and header the ball away, successfully redirecting it towards Michael Kaiser. Kaiser leaps forward and manages to barely get to the pass, with Corona on his right and Kurisu on his left. He then begins to monologue about how he'll never miss again, and with him being 35 meters out currently, he only needs to get about 5 meters closer and stop the ball to guarantee success for the Magnus. Unfortunately for him though, Hitoshi Rin and Isagi have both caught up on both sides of Kaiser, and are looking like literal demons from hell. Hitoshi Rin is running his ass down while calling him lukewarm. Meanwhile, Isagi is just screaming for Kaiser to keep it pushing rather than sitting around. With everyone taking on intense expressions, the three strikers all converge on the ball at the exact same time, sending it flying into God knows what galaxy. As Kaiser topples to the ground from this and everyone begins to scream out, all he can think about is how he's gained everything from winning, and it's now all being destroyed in front of his very eyes. In an ironic twist of fate too, as Kaiser's getting up, Isagi turns over his shoulder only having one thing to say. Hey Kaiser, you get it, right? This team isn't yours anymore. Kneel before me, you fucking clown. Now, although I absolutely love this panel and Isagi humbling a new gen striker, I just have a sneaking suspicion that this is foreshadowing for Kaiser spinning back. Last time Isagi yapped like this was against Baru in the earlier selections, and now look what that got him. Anyways, with Noah watching this all unfold from the bench with an unfazed look, he encourages Kaiser to fight with his ego and evolve, as these moments can only come from times of adversary. As the new gen striker watches Isagi run off into the distance, his face begins to seethe with rage as he clenches his teeth, ready to destroy everything. With that being the end of today's leaks, all we're left with is chapter 262's title being 0. I'm really expecting this to consist of Kaiser and Ness planning on how to score with his Magnus Impact, but maybe it even happens now that the flashback's over. Let me know what your thoughts and theories are down below, as I love reading the different interpretations of each chapter's outro and title. As this is sadly the end of today's video, I just have to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching all the way through. If you enjoy the content I push out and would like to stay updated, please make sure to click that subscribe button, comment below your thoughts, and also check out my community Discord down below. I hope you all go on to have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be the official overview of this chapter.